Hello, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst for Money Markets, here with this week's Stock Power podcast. Now, today's power stock is a massive producer of natural gas in the U.S., and it scores a 96 on our Stock Power rating system. First, I do want to make sure you're visiting moneymarkets.com each and every day. Adam, Charles, myself, and our entire team work very hard to provide you with safe, sound, smart, simple, and adaptable investment information every day of the week. You can check out my Stock Power Daily, where Monday through Friday, each and every day, I give you one highly rated stock according to our Stock Power rating system that you should consider for your portfolio. You can also use that Stock Power rating system for free at moneymarkets.com. Just go to the top right-hand corner of the homepage, type in any ticker or company. You can pull down the ratings, any analysis we've done on the stock, plus a ton of other information all right there. You can create a watch list. You can do all sorts of great stuff, all for free at moneyandmarkets.com. Now let's get into this week's Stock Power podcast. Natural gas is the primary fuel used by power stations to provide electricity to homes and businesses. And this is all over the world. This is just isn't here in the US. This is everywhere. And with winter approaching, the demand for natural gas will surge. Now, it's traditional that natural gas demand surges in the winter because that's what's used to heat, whereas it kind of scales back in the summer because we're using air conditioning and more traditional electricity to cool in the summer. But Europe here is facing a mounting natural gas crisis, and it's one that only U.S. companies can help it avoid. Now, in today's episode of the Stock Power Podcast, I'm going to share with you a 96 rated energy power stock with a strong portfolio of natural gas properties here in the United States. Now, as I said, Europe is facing a natural gas crisis of epic proportions. Russia has previously slashed its delivery of natural gas, which was made up about 40% of all gas in Europe in 2021. And now this week, it took that a step further. The country shut off all gas supplies to Europe until economic sanctions due to its invasion of Ukraine have been lifted. And now Europe's leading exporter of natural gas to Europe, to broader countries, Norway. And Norway does not have nearly the supply to outpace the demand for natural gas across the continent. So now it means that European countries are going to be turning to the U.S. To fill that growing demand, especially as winter approaches. Now, stores are pretty good. They're about 80% full in Europe right now, but that's only for a short term. Heading into 2023, 2024, even into 2025, those natural gas resources are going to continue to get depleted the longer Russia keeps the spigot off to its natural gas. So Europe's got to look for different ways to bring in liquefied natural gas and standard natural gas, and it's going to be the U.S. It's going to be the big provider of that supply. And this week's power stock is a company that explores and produces natural gas from across its properties in the U.S. It earns a strong bullish 96 in our Stock Power rating system. The company just reported a 256.3% increase in revenue from its natural gas sales alone. And the stock is up 81.9% over the last 12 months. And this is massive leader in natural gas production, is going to play a critical role in helping Europe avoid a deep freeze, not just this year, but in years to come. Now, as I said, the demand for power is growing across the world. Natural gas is the chosen fuel for that power for now. Obviously, renewables are big. We believe in it as a major mega trend here at Money and Markets, but we can't ignore the fact that natural gas is still the dominant fuel used for power. Now, the chart I'm showing you here shows the expansion of natural gas power generation globally. This is basically taking anything that is powered, that generates power by natural gas. This is it right here. And now we're going to expand our natural gas power capacity globally by 31.3% from 2020 to 2050. And that's globally. So just think about that. That is across the world. We're expanding it by 31% by 2050. And this means more natural gas is needed to power these plants. And with Russia already capping its exports, Europe is going to be in desperate need of natural gas. And today's stock is Coterra Energy Incorporated. It trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker CTRA. Now, Coterra, interesting, it explores for and produces natural gas as well as oil, but natural gas is its primary. And it's got properties, it's got basin properties in Texas, like the Permian Basin, in Pennsylvania, and also in Oklahoma. It's a Houston-based company, and it recently renamed itself after a merger of Cabot Oil and Gas and Cimarex Energy back last year, and that has produced now Coterra, which is a massive, massive company. It is huge. It's got about a $23 billion market cap. It scores a 96 on our proprietary stock power rating system, means we're strong bullish on the stock and expect it to beat the broader market by at least 3 times over the next 12 months. Now, the stock has had a solid run over the last 12 months, and I'm going to touch on that here shortly, but I do want to point out that CTRA is a tremendous fundamental stock. It scores a perfect 100 on growth, especially after posting that 256.3% jump in natural gas sales from the second quarter of 21 to the second quarter of 22. Its quality is also strong. It scores a 94 on that metric, thanks in large part to its gross margin of 79.4% compared to the industry average of just 67.9%. But even more so, its net margin is 39.5%. That's more than double the industry average. So it is raking in cash and storing it in a massive way. Now let's talk about that stock price over the last 12 months. I really want to show this because I think it's important to see. CTRA hit its 52-week high in June of 2022. From January of 2022 to that high, the stock climbed 98.4%. Now, it's pared some of those gains back due to a broader market sell-off as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, but the stock is still up 81% over the last 12 months. And its revenue projections are also very strong. It saw 161% revenue growth from 20 to 21. That's good, right? Well, now let's look ahead to the end of this year. By the end of 2022, Coterra's total annual revenue is projected to reach $8.6 billion. That's a 135% jump from last year. So if you look at that, if from 2020 to 2022, it went from 1.4 billion to 8.6 billion in total annual revenue. That is a huge jump, and a lot of that is on the back of its natural gas production. So the global demand for natural gas is already growing. And it was growing already before Russia invaded Ukraine and then caused this groundswell of sanctions, pipelines shutting off, gas supplies being frozen. All that stuff was before. The demand was high even before all of that. Now it's just getting bigger. It's going to explode. And, because sanctions have now cut off 40% of Europe's natural gas supply. And as we head into the winter months, that's going to be huge because that's when natural gas demand is at its highest. So Europe is going to turn to U.S. companies to fill this massive gap, and it's why CTRA is a great addition for your portfolio. Now let's move on to last week's YouTube poll question. Fall is rapidly approaching. We're already in September. Fall is coming up here very quickly. We want to see what your travel plans were for the upcoming season. Now, interestingly, 45% of those who voted said they weren't planning any travel at all, just because it's too much hassle. There's too many airline problems. They just don't want to deal with it. I get that. I'm kind of the same way. Don't really feel like traveling much. Probably won't. So probably just going to stay home for the fall. 21% said they weren't traveling so they could save for the holidays, while 14% said they were going to travel, but they were looking forward to much smaller crowds now that school was back in session. So thank you to everyone who participated in our weekly poll. Remember, you can vote every week in our poll on our YouTube page. Just go to our YouTube page under Money and Markets and go to that community tab, and you'll be able to find the poll right there at the top of that page. And if you have a question about a particular stock or a sector that you'd like me, Adam, or Charles to look at in any of our upcoming videos, or maybe even in a report that we issue on Money and Markets, just email us at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll drop that right down below because we love to do that as well. And if we use your question in any of our upcoming videos, we're going to hook you up with some very cool Money and Markets gear for free. We've got hats, t-shirts, we've got sweatshirts, which may come in handy as we approach fall and winter. So make sure you get those questions submitted. Feedback@moneyandmarkets.com is the email address. Also, again, I want to remind you, head over to moneyandmarkets.com and you can get our free daily e-letter. We give you safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information for your portfolio. You can check out my Stock Power Daily, which Monday through Friday, I give you one highly rated power stock for you to consider for your portfolio. We've done pretty well so far since we started this in April. We got a lot of stocks that are doing very well, even despite the market downturn. So you want to check that out. You can check all that out at moneyandmarkets.com. And also you can play around with that Stock Power rating system that is at the heart of everything we do with Money and Markets. When you're on the homepage at moneyandmarkets.com, you can see in the top right-hand corner that search bar. Just type in a ticker or a company, and you can pull down the ratings of thousands of stocks. You'll see it broken down by our 6 metrics. You'll see a stock chart. You'll see some fundamental data related to the company and any research we've done on the stock. And you can check all that out for free. Create your own watch list as well. And again, it's all free at moneymarkets.com. That's all for me this week. Until next time, this is Money Markets research analyst and host of the Stock Power Podcast, Matt Clark, wishing you all safe trading.